Hey y'all, today we're building some prototype display cases for trading cards. I have a big collection and I want to build a large wall mount eventually, but today we're going to start small and see how this looks. I cut down a block to act as my card spacer and then started milling up a back piece and side trim for this project. I spent a lot of time dialing in the miter saw and getting these 45-degree cuts right. To help protect the cards, I'm building a wraparound frame that will have a plexiglass front to it, so the first goal is get the frame to the right size. I have rough measurements of what this is going to look like, but we're adjusting as we go here, so I'm making these cuts right to the size of the frame. I glued together the frame with wood glue and painter's tape to keep it taut. This tape may be a little old as it was having trouble sticking. And then I checked for square and it was good to go. With that measurement final, I cut the plexiglass to size and started with the frame trim. I lost this footage, but I'll make up for that later on the next part. This frame will keep the card centered and it will be more important for the bigger displays, but the important thing right now is that this card spacer fits snugly. This one is going to get painted so a generous amount of putty was involved. With the basics figured out, it's time to build a few more. For these, I'm going to do the same pine backer, but I'm going to do a walnut wraparound frame to make it look classier. You can see here what all is involved with bringing this down to size. The depth of this is 1.25 inches, and then I had to trim this down to go ahead and cut out the wraparound portion of this, so it fits right on the display. This is what I didn't show earlier, but this is how I glued the frame trim on. Get one side locked in with wood and super glue using a straight edge, then worked through the rest using the card spacer to make sure I had the right distances between the top and bottom, and then all of the side pieces. This frame material is just 1/4 inch by 1/8 inch strips that I ripped on the table saw, and I'm cutting it with my hand saw to size. I then trimmed the frame to clean up the sides some, and then went to the table saw to get a final nice smooth cut on each side. This is something I didn't do on the first one, but I found it really helped to make for a cleaner and tighter look. I actually made the frame of this only 1/2 inch wide on these walnut boards compared to the 3/4 inch on the original ones, because that original one looked too bulky once I cut it out. I liked it enough that I actually went back and trimmed down the original one on the table saw to match this size. Now to glue this one up, I went ahead and used one long piece of tape to help make up for the fact that it was having trouble sticking, and this full wraparound on this tape did the job much better. Now to test fit. One was a little too tight after the glue up, but a quick trim and the table saw got it fitting snug. All of these are getting a black matte paint for the holders. Then the walnut trim is getting a few coats of a water-based poly. After sanding everything after the first coat, I drilled 2 holes in each frame, one on each side, and then countersunk them, as that'll be the attach points where 2 screws will hold these things together. After cutting the rest of the plexiglass, the frames were ready to get put together. I thought about using other picture frame style clasps to hold these together, but I didn't think that would really be strong enough for these builds and really wanted to focus on protecting these cards. Overall, they turned out great. They're nice little tabletop displays, and I learned what I needed to tackle a big one in the near future. If you like this, be sure and like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next project. Thanks.